We are talking to Mike Cronin, who covers the town of Rockport for the Gloucester Daily Times. There are a couple of new controversies in the town of Rockport that we thought that it would be great if Mike could just, lead us through what's happening. The first one, Mike, is the charging stations in town. Tell us what's going on with that issue.
Um, so the Rockport Green Community Task Force, they've been recently awarded a nearly $200,000 grant to install these charging stations all around town. They have nine planned for the first wave. Hopefully, they hopefully think that they're going to be installing more sometime in the near future. Already, there's three now in town hall units, and I'm assuming sometime soon, this week maybe, they plan on installing and finishing up three in the headlands at that small parking area right on right in that middle of the neighborhood. There's a small patch of parking spots on Atlantic Avenue. They're planning to install charging stations at three of those parking spots.
So, my first question is: does the $200,000 cover all nine of these charging stations? So
Yeah,
they're pretty expensive.
yes. I think it was 60,000 for the group of three each.
Yeah. Yes.
So there was a controversy with the Headlands neighborhood residents. They felt that having these electronic charger stations would affect the character of the neighborhood. One person described it as kind of like during a board of selectmen meeting, he described it as um, kind of scenic, nature-ish kind of area, woodsy, and he said that the installation of these electronic towers would kind of deteriorate the area, the
No,
scenery.
I don't think of I think I've seen these charging stations before, and they don't seem too obtrusive. Do you know what they look like?
They're about, I would say, like 5 feet tall. Yeah, they go right in front of the parking spot, and two cords come out of either end. So one station charges two cars. So with the three charging stations per group, they'll be able to charge six cars in total in each area.
There's one charging station at Town Hall. And
Mhm.
where are the others? And why was the Headlands selected as a site?
Well, originally they were planning to install them near Back Beach. However, there were issues with flooding concerns. If the tide comes up too high or a particularly bad storm occurs, it can severely damage them. So the committee wanted to look for some place that was close downtown, but also far enough away to mitigate any water damage, flooding, and they found that the Highland, I'm sorry, the Headland
Headland.
area is would be a perfect place. Um,
Hmm. So currently the plan is to have them at Town Hall, the Headlands.
the transfer station, yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
three each in each of those three locations for a
Okay, so
total.
the three locations: transfer station, Town Hall, and the Headlands.
Mhm.
Where do we stand with that as an issue at this point?
Well, the Board of Selectmen at their meeting last week voted 3-2 to continue with the plan as approved. Earlier on, they approved all three stations. However, based on concerns from people in the neighborhood in the Headlands, they decided to take up the topic again, possibly change their minds, give the Board of Selectmen an opportunity to possibly change their minds if they feel that it's within the best interest of the town to maybe pump the brakes, I guess, on the project. Sarah Wilkinson and Ruth George voted to pause it, while the remaining committee members, the remaining selectmen, Paul Murphy, Ross Brackett, and Don Campbell, all voted to stay the course.
Mhm.
Um, Sarah Wilkinson spoke at the meeting. She was kind of, you know, um, willing to hear the neighbors out with their concerns. She said that if maybe if town isn't ready to have these charging stations inside a neighborhood, we should maybe um, take their counts into consideration and maybe take some time to plan further. However, Don Campbell felt that the charging stations weren't very intrusive to the neighborhood, to the character of the neighborhood, and basically it was a net positive for everybody in town to have these electric charging stations.
So I have one more question that I'm just realizing about these charging stations. Can a car that's not an electric vehicle park there?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
That is a
We'll
good question. It's easy to know.
yeah, then we'll find the answer to that. But there's another incredibly fascinating controversy going on with the Back Beach neighborhood. Do you want to tell us what's happening there?
Yeah. So there is a group of people, residents around Back Beach. They call themselves the Back Beach Neighbor Committee, and for the past, I when I started covering it, it was last year. They've been kind of at odds with the scuba divers who give lessons um, at Back Beach. They claim that they're disrupting the peaceful neighborhood with their loud clanging oxygen tanks. There's been made there's been claims that people have been undressing in the middle of the street, things like that, getting into their wetsuits. At the time, I spoke with scuba instructors, and they denied all of these claims. They say that, there's no undressing in the streets, no improper conduct by anybody, any of the teachers or students, I guess, the scuba students diving in the area. Uh, so there's been the Back Beach Neighborhood Committee has um, taken these complaints and filed three different lawsuits in three separate courts. One was in Superior Court, one was in State District Court, and the other more recently was in Land Court. This most recent lawsuit um, claims that 18 abutters of Back Beach are I guess, the rightful owners of uh, the beach itself and the neighborhood along Beach Street. And they, in the complaint, they highlight a bunch of deeds in the history of Rockport um, to bolster their claim. For example, they said that an 1836 survey shows that all but two parcels of land at the time did not have property down to the high water mark. So that means, I guess they're all beachfront properties at the time, back in the 1830s. So the
And how many people are in this group?
there's 15. Five are actually, yes, 15 members of the Back Beach Neighbor Committee, and only five are listed on the lawsuit itself. However, they do make a stipulation that any of the other abutters are free to join on in the lawsuit if they feel that they have right to the land as well.
So they are claiming that they own Back Beach and the neighborhood farther down Back Beach, which includes the bandstand. What do you think their goal is here? And is it connected to controlling the diver situation? Does it have any merit, this case?
Um, the goal for the court case, I can't really say for this one in particular. There's no mention of divers. It's strictly about property and who owns what. Um, I can't make a direct connection to this land court case and the committee's ongoing issues with divers in the area. But it seems as though that, if one person owns private property, they can say who comes and who goes on it. So,
Right.
yeah.
And most of as you mentioned, but I'll just repeat it because it's pretty fascinating, their claims are based on deeds that were created in the 18th century?
Yes, the 17th century, 18th century as well. Previous landowners have given away portions of their property to the town. For example, the plot of land where the American Legion Hall now stands, that was once private property given to the town for a elementary school to be built on it. The elementary school built in again the 1800s, closed down early 1900s, and that's when it was used for kind of a community hall and eventually the American Legion place. This lawsuit claims that now that because the land was given up for the explicit purpose of a elementary school, and now that it's no longer an elementary school, it belongs back into private property.
Mm.
Um, I don't know how well these documents will hold up in court, especially because some of the deeds that they're citing or some of the information that they're citing are back when Rockport was a territory of Gloucester in the 1700s.
Right, right. Gloucester is named in this case too, right? Because
Yeah.
it was actually, it was when it was a territory of Gloucester.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So, I mean, we're all getting a history lesson also, I think.
Definitely.
So, and I think the selectmen did move to have this dismissed. Is that right?
Yeah. However, the committee, their lawyer made a change to the complaint somehow. So the court decided to kind of cancel the motion to dismiss because the complaint has changed. So um, at this time. I'm not sure if the town refiled another complaint to this motion to dismiss this
Mm.
new updated complaint. But yeah, I'm sure they plan on it.
Well, someone on Facebook did point out that uh, their taxes, if they do in fact own this property, that's a lot of waterfront property to pay taxes on, and insurance costs of people using Back Beach, because I think they still can, at least from the low water mark down. Is that right? And also FEMA would probably be involved in their lives somehow with that. The breakwater, not the breakwater, the seawall there.
Yeah.
So,
The stipulation in the complaint that says that if um, their property is granted to them, that the town would be required to maintain the seawall as well.
oh, oh,
Yeah.
so we have to pay for the seawall, but they get to have the road and the land.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very quickly, can you run through or tell us about the other two cases, one in Superior Court and one in District Court, that this group filed?
So the one in Superior Court is in regards to the town allegedly failing to comply with the group's public records request laws. Um, I guess the group requested documents and they believe that the town has not delivered them within a timely manner. So they're suing them in regards to that.
Do we know
Uh,
what the documents were about?
it was, I spoke with the group's lawyer. It was there were documents involved for the district court case. They were trying
Oh,
to,
okay. So what's the District Court case?
yes, the district court case. This one was so the district court case is about, I guess the group is claiming civil rights abuses from the town. They allege that the town is treating divers as um, with less leniency than other people in the neighborhood, treating them like um, they're favoring the divers over the neighbors in regards to
Civil rights.
civil rights laws, the town's bylaws. They claim that the divers are doing a commercial, are have the lawsuit claims that the divers are hosting a commercial business on public property. However, the town does allow for scuba lessons to occur, as long as they get the permits
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Um, so there's an issue with that, but there's also been issues with parking, things like that. The
Mm.
committee feels that the town looks the other way with in regards to scuba divers parking in non-parking areas. Um, but recently, within the last couple months or so, 7 of the 9 complaints in that district court case were dismissed uh, by the judge. So I spoke with the attorney after that. They said they're still going to keep fighting, and they're also going to, um, keep going with their 2 other lawsuits that are in Superior and Land Court.
You mean the ones that you've mentioned, but they don't have new ones. So far as we know.
Yep.
Right. Right. Well, it's it's a shame that the town has to pay for lawsuits like this, and it's a shame that people are so unhappy. And but the other interesting thing is the civil rights violation, in air quotes, has spurned all these signs all over town that say we welcome everyone, including divers.
Yeah.
So I think the divers are having their moment in some ways.
Yeah. There seems to be a large community public support for the scuba divers. Um, but again, it's up for the courts to decide on if the committee,
Great. Well, please keep us posted. And I do look forward to talking to you again or catching up with you about the fire department and just to keep us all up to date on that. But that will be in the next week or two.
okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike.